Are we live? Excellent. We are live. All right, wonderful. Awesome. So, not gonna lie, I'm a little nervous today. All right, so you can see I've got my timer up in the corner, got a plan for the stream, but today, to celebrate 30,000 subscribers, I'm going to try my best to write 30 different catchy, quality, memorable themes in just 1 hour. All right, I think it's gonna be a fun challenge. I think it's gonna be something cool, just enjoyable for me to work with. Honestly, probably could have done a better job marketing it, but that's okay. First, let's pull up the plan. All right, so this is the plan. This is how I'm going to accomplish it. I have 30 melodies I need to write. Each one's going to be 8 bars long, so about 8 measures. I'm going to do 8 of them at 120 BPM in 4/4 time, 8 of them at 100 BPM 3/4 time, 7 at 80 BPM 4/4 time, and 7 at 60 BPM 3/4 time. And as you can see, they're also been divided into like whether I'm working with a major key or major harmony versus minor harmony. So this is kind of like how I've gone through and conceptualized it all, right? Kind of prepped it to give myself the best shot. So here's the plan. Since it'd be kind of boring to write 30 melodies and not hear how any of them sound until the end, each of these quarters, each of these sections, so once I'm done with the first 8 melodies, I will stop the timer so we can go through and listen to them. And I have an idea. I was thinking about when I'm done with these 30 melodies, would any of you be interested in the MIDI file? Like, what if I just sold this on, like, let me know in the comments, like, what would you be willing to pay for this? Like, $10, $5, $20? What do you think would be a good price to sell the MIDI file for just all of these melodies so that you can try arranging them or seeing what you can do with them yourself? Because not gonna lie, it'd be really, really cool to hear what people come up with my melodies. To see if someone could turn an 8-bar melody into a full-length piece of music. Welcome, Euthymania! Yes, 23, it is indeed Detroit time. So, let's start getting this stuff ready. Won't stop the timer just yet. I want to get some stuff set up first. So we've got our signature track. The first couple ones are going to be in 4/4 time. Let's do our tempo track. We're starting at 120 BPM. Let's stretch out. Let's figure out an 8-bar. There we go. We'll do that. We'll repeat that. We'll do the first, we'll map out the first 4. All right, because the first 8, I mean, here will be our first 8 melodies. All right, remember, the first 8 I'm going to try and do are going to be at 120 BPM, all 4/4 time. I'm going to do 4 of them in a major key, 4 of them in a minor key. I'm just going to stick to C major and A minor today to keep things a little easy. Maybe do some modal stuff as we go on. But like I said, we're going to do all 30. We've got a timer right here. After the first 8, I'll pause the timer so we can go back and listen to them. All right? That way we don't have to like write a bunch of melodies and you don't know what they sound like until it's all over. All right? We'll do the first 8, pause, and then when I'm ready for the next 8, we'll start the timer back up again. But with that, without further ado, let's get started, shall we? All right, timer is on. Let's do the first 4 are going to be major keys. So super easy. Let's just come up with a C major first. All right. And then let's do the first one. We'll just do a typical authentic cadence is how we'll end it. And then we'll go to the next one. I'm going to just speed this real quick. They're all going to start with C major. But I want to give each one a different cadence. You know what I'm saying? So if that last one was a authentic cadence, let's end this one on a half cadence. Let's make this one a little more interesting. Start with C major, but let's end this one with a romantic cadence. So the romantic cadence is the, oops. Let's get that up. That really kind of beautiful little sound. And then let's do our last major one in this first thing. Let's do a heroic cadence, shall we? So heroic cadence being the sus chords. Right? Super fun little sound there. And then we've got to start, of course, with our major chord. So we've got the chord progressions started. Let's just fill out these chord progressions super quick. I'm just going to use functional harmony for this one. And we'll do... So we've got our chord progression. And let's raise this one up a little bit. And we're actually fine. So now let's quickly map out our melody. We'll do sentence structure. That's going to be a B. So we've got our nice little basic tones figured out. Let's now add a little bit of... So what I've done here is this is sentence structure. So let's go to voice. Which means that this is the same idea, just a variation of itself. Let's create just a random rhythm. And we legitimize it through repetition. We'll slow down a little bit. Chop that up a little bit. So you got a nice little sentence structure. And so that we can see that all of this is technically working, even though it seems all random, which it technically was random. That's how I'm going to get away with a lot of this. It's going to be very random. All right, not the best melody I've written, but it's okay, because we're moving on. Next one, we've got... Let's build this one out and make it a little more interesting, shall we? So here's our chord progression. Got a nice little chord progression there. Let's pick our target tones. We'll go to C. We'll go. This is an A minor. Let's drop that down. We'll go back to velocity so we have a little coloring. So let's listen to our basic idea. Like that. Let's listen to our melody. And I really, really should not be doing this, but I'm going to go back and doctor this up a little bit, fix it up a little bit. I felt like there were moments that moved a little bit too quickly. Thank you, Paul. And of course, if we were to repeat it, it would legitimize it. Let's move on. That's the tricky part, is writing all of these 8-bar ideas. None of them are going to sound very satisfying since they're only 8 bars long. But through repetition, they get legitimized as actual themes. Let's do. We'll do. So now we've got our chord progression. Got a nice romantic sound there. Let's find our chordal tones. Drop that down a bit. So here we have our basic idea. Let's drop this velocity a little bit so we can separate our melody a bit. Let's actually delete that. We'll do, so it's an F minor. Let's do an F. And then we've got our melody. I'm going to make more of a downward motion, I think. Well, let's see. It would be. Let's do an E. Well, yeah, we'll just end up there. All right, awesome. So we got our melody there. All right, let's see. One more, and then we'll listen to each of these again. I feel like I gotta stop pausing so quickly. I'm taking too long. Yeah, right. This is from something. I recognize it. Is it? No idea. These are all just completely random. The cadences sound very similar, because they're very common cadences. But let's do. Now let's listen to our chord progression. I like that. Let's actually change this one. We'll have a little authentic cadence in the middle. All right, there we go. Let's create something very simple. Let's move down this time. So we've got our basic melody sketched out a little bit. Let's drop this. Let's stretch this. Repeat our basic idea. Listen to our idea. I want to add a little bit more kind of a callback to here. Excellent. All right, so 4 melodies down. Let's keep going because I am taking way too long with these. I'm never going to make it to 30 in an hour if I can't hurry up. Let's do E minor, A minor. Nice authentic cadence. We'll do another A minor. And this time we'll do a Aeolian cadence. This time we'll do A minor. We'll do a Dorian cadence this time. And this time, let's just end on a half cadence. Let's see here. Hey, thanks, Paul. Hey, what's up? What's your key for choosing the key to write in? So 23, my strategy for the key is just if it's a major key, do I'll pause it so I can explain this. So for those of you who are just joining, let's see here. Of course, if you have questions, I can pause if I'm not writing. I'll pause it to answer questions and stuff. Let's keep it interesting that way, shall we? So the timer is right here. We can see how much time I've spent actually writing. This is the breakdown. I gotta do 30 melodies in 1 hour. So far, I've done 4 in 15 minutes. That's not a good look. All right, I'm gonna have to speed up a little bit. I've got the first 8 that I'm working on right now are all gonna be in 120 BPM, and they're all gonna be in 4/4 time. I'm gonna do 4 in major, which I just did, and I'm gonna do 4 in minor, which I'm doing now. So just to keep things even, I'll do 4 in C major, 4 in A minor. After these, I'm gonna slow down the tempo a little bit. I'm gonna swap to 3/4 time, and I'll do 4 in major, 4 in minor. Then slow down the tempo again, go back to 4/4 time, 4 in major, 3 in minor, and then once again, slow down, change time signature, and do 3 major, 4 minor. This is the plan. Let's see here. All right, so Paul, I'm gonna let you know 23 is not my brother Zach. I know they have similar looking names, but that's not Zach. Number 4, welcome. I'm nervous. I'm not even the one doing this challenge. Yeah, I'm off to a slow start. The timer's paused right now because I'm answering questions. All right. So as usual, this is a live stream. Feel free to ask questions. All right. Feel free to put in comments, ideas, suggestions. Pop them in while I'm writing. While the timer's going, I'm probably going to focus on writing because my mouth has written a big check and I need to cash it. All right. But in between, I'll pause. I'll answer questions. I'll answer things, and all that stuff. Hey, welcome, Carl. What's up? All right. So with that, let's get back to it. I'm working on the 4 minor ones. I'm going to take a break from the comments, pop in questions, pop in ideas. When I'm done with the minor ones, we'll go back and we'll listen. All right? And this one, I'm going to just go straight into it. Let's drop this a little bit. Do a little voice leading. Drop that a little bit. Let's do... We'll do it down to B. Just because I'm a sucker for dotted rhythms. This is the motif. Let's bring this up. All right, awesome. And since we're running slow, we'll wait to listen to this for when we're done with all eight of them. Then we'll go through, we'll listen, and we'll critique. How's that sound? All right, this one is ending with an Aeolian cadence, which is isn't the strongest cadence. It's not like the authentic cadence we just did. We're gonna do a nice little weaker. All right, little sound there. There we go. We've got our chord progression figured out. Let's pop this down a little bit. Voice lead a little bit. We'll do... We can actually have that be a ninth. Yep. We'll do that. We'll do a little chop up there. Speed things up a little bit, and we'll go through and listen to them all when we're done with the first 8. So this one's going to be Dorian, one of my favorites to work with. So we got a chord progression. All right, doesn't move a lot of pedal points on A, and because of that, I'm going to try and avoid using A in my melody. Just to add a little bit of contrast. Until the very end. we'll move up. All right, and we'll listen to this in a moment. Is that all of them? No, we got one more, and then we'll go through and we'll listen to all these melodies. We'll critique them, see what sucks, see what works, and just move on from there, shall we? We'll do... All right, there we go. Drop that. Drop these. We got E as a pedal point now. Bring this up. Oops, what happened? There we go. Drop this an octave. Drop velocity a little bit. We'll do E. Let's listen to this real quick. Let's go back down to E. See, we'll raise this an octave real quick. We'll hang this over. All right, let's listen to this real quick. There we go. We'll pause that real quick and let's listen to the first 8, shall we? Oh, wow. Thanks, Paul. Really appreciate it. And Carl, son of... Wow. And excited. Thank you, guys. Wow. All right. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I really appreciate it. Let's see here. Wow. Got a lot of stuff to catch up on. It's gonna be... Yeah. So far, I'm going real slow. Okay. Exotic scale usage is my suggestion. 23. That's a very good idea. I'm using a couple modal stuff. Right now, I'm just trying to see how quickly I can write those. So I'm trying not to... A lot of this stuff is going to be super cookie cutter, super very simple stuff. Then my family showing up in huge support. Thank you, Paul. Thank you, Carl. Thank you, Xiu. I really appreciate all of you guys. I really do. I feel very loved. Thank you, guys. 23, joking about the Eminem stuff. Yeah, right. Thank you, one. Let's see here. Let's just see. I had to sing all the melodies, Carl. No. I don't think I can do that. 23. I don't have money. Haven't you read my profile description? Paul Berkmeyer. Hot. No worries. Glad you guys are having some fun. Excellent. Javier Marin. Thank you very much. 30K opera voice reveal. Hell no. All right, I did a singing voice reveal already for 20K. All right, I'm not doing opera. I've never been trained for opera. Hit all these high notes. Hell no. All right, we've done the first 8. I'm gonna have to start cranking out a lot faster. But the timer is paused since I'm no longer writing. Let's go through each of these and just see how they sound. All right. Again, I am trying to mass produce melodies at the moment. Now, because we want to hear how these sound as actual melodies, I'm going to loop them each twice because repetition is what legitimizes an idea. An idea doesn't become an actual musical concept until it gets repeated at least once. That's why you'll never really hear a theme heard only once, unless, of course, it's provided as a form of contrast. But let's listen to this first idea real quick. I would drop this down, I think. And I'd glue this to improve it. And then we hear it again. And to create a more interesting idea, I would add a bass line. That's how I would improve this. And then we can add a little bit of movement to help bridge some of the gaps. Actually, we'll leave this one just fine. We'll drop this one down though. And we can hear it one more time. Very simple ideas. Let's move on to the second one, see how this one sounds. And again, we'll repeat it twice so we can really have it in our ears. All right, so I would stretch this one out a little bit to fix it. Also, this one, I think the second one works better. I think the second melody is nicer, and I think it's because the first one, I was a little nervous, I was a little panicky, and I added too much energy to it. This one, however, with things moving a little slower, let's turn the metronome on. Yeah, I think that could definitely be something. I think I could work with that. I could turn that into something. I want to adjust it again, make some changes, improve it a little bit. What are you guys thinking? Let's see here. Bruh, I am not doing opera. I'm not gonna do the opera stuff. We'll see. We'll see. I'm not. No. Bruh. No. Number 4. What are the winners of the past competitions? Given the nature of the challenge, what was the longest you've worked on a piece, and what were the challenges that it presented? Ooh. That's a really good question. In fact, I can pull it up real quick. I don't know if you guys are gonna hear it or not, but I'm gonna say the piece that gave me the most trouble. Like a theme that took the most trouble. This is gonna be on Instagram. Where is it? It's around here somewhere. It's one of my Instagram reels on here somewhere. It was from the first play I ever worked. Here it is. Can you guys hear this? A very simple idea, but this theme took me about 4 weeks to come up with. So, yeah, I've got other music that you can find on my Instagram page because I don't share a lot of it on this channel for whatever reason. But this theme, I remember, took me 4 weeks to just come up with the tune. Admittedly, that was years ago. I think I posted this in 2023, but it was actually, yeah. So if this was 2021, so 4 years ago, I wrote this. Took me an entire month to come up with the tune. Because it was my first major project. It was the first actual play I was on that was going to be featured in New York. It was a short play. And I was just really in my own head about it. I was really nervous. I didn't know if any of my ideas were good at all. But the cool thing is this piece ended up getting praise. It got some pretty high praise from Lynn Nottage and David Henry Hwang. David Henry Hwang being a very famous opera writer, and Lynn Nottage being a Pulitzer Prize winning playwright herself. Incredibly wonderful people. They both saw the play. They both loved the music that I had written for it. This is wasn't the only piece, but this was the primary theme. In fact, I can pull up a suite because this was actually done twice. Since then, it's very rare that I would be able to have the time to spend an entire month on... Let's see here. Can you hear this one? Here we go. Let's see here. We'll pull up the sheet music too, so we can follow along with it. Give myself a little bit of a break. Allow my nerves to come down. I'm not gonna lie. I think part of what's making me take so long on each of these is I'm a little nervous. This isn't the usual setting of low stakes. Just whip up an example real quick. This is an actual challenge I've given myself. Let me double check that I'm not missing comments. Okay, awesome. So you guys can hear it. Jack Ludwig, Ave Maria at 40K. Okay, no, I am not getting stuck on another 40K, like a 40K thing yet. All right, we'll cross that bridge when we get it. Was that so, Carl? Was that recorded piano or MIDI? So that was MIDI. I played a lot of the parts myself. I do have a recording of this. I've got to find where it is, but I have a recording where a dear friend of mine, Dan, who has his doctorate of musical arts in piano studies, where he's an insanely talented piano player, actually recorded this performance for me. Because it's a very difficult piece. But the really cool thing about this is I had to take the same theme, and this is why it took so long. So I had to come up with a theme that could sound like panic and anxiety, and then come back and be a love song. So we'll play both of these real quick, and then I will get back to writing music like I'm supposed to be doing. I'll have the sheet music up so we can follow along. Little fun fact, this line right here is pervasive throughout the entire theme, and it's called the, it's an ancient motif. I'll explain later. I don't want to... We'll pause for a moment. So I want to just kind of geek out, little music nerdy kind of stuff. So this bass line, this so it starts on A. That A to E, from the tonic of a minor chord down to the fifth, moving downwards, is a very ancient and famous motif called the... Oh, what is it? I'm blanking on it. Something bass line. It's like the morning bass line? No, I'm blanking. If I remember, I'll remind you, but there's a specific name. It's sort of like the Dies Irae, where it's an ancient motif taken from, oh my goodness, I can't even think of what it's called. Plain chant. It's taken from plain chant or Gregorian chant. And it was used very much in funerals to depict death or imminent death. And it's featured heavily throughout this entire piece. Even as it gets bigger, you'll notice that even I have accents where even as the bass line gets more elaborate, the first downbeat follows that same G, F, E, and then it drops an octave, but it's still A, G. It still follows over and over again the same basic bass line repeating over and over again. That bass line that has for centuries stood for death, because this original piece was supposed to be a improvisation by the character Esther, a piano player who's kind of dealing with the news that her diagnosis is terminal and she's going to die. Now, the tricky part is I had to take this huge grief, anxiety-filled theme and transform it into a love theme. Because then she ends up, this is in the play actually follows her widow, or her widower, Jeremy, who's dealing with the death of his wife. And he's in therapy and he's trying to build up the courage to listen to the very last recording his late wife, Esther, ever made for him, which is the last piece of music she ever wrote. He has never heard it even a year later because he's kind of scared that if he listens to it, that means there's nothing left from her in this world. There's nothing new that he can ever have from her again. So I had to take that theme and I had to turn it into a love theme, and that's what we're about to hear now. Lamenting bassline. Thank you, Jack. Yes, that's the name. So that was a very long answer to answer, my friend. This was probably the one that took the theme or the melody that took me the longest. Right, it took me a month to come up with a melody I was happy with. Again, that was about 5 years ago. I don't take that long to write a character theme or anything anymore, but this one idea, the ability that I was able to spend in that month of taking a theme that could be such polar opposites of extreme anguish and anxiety over your own mortality into a sweet, kind of bittersweet little love theme. That opened a lot of doors for me. Every single professional gig I've ever gotten in theater started with this one theme that I wrote for a short play back in 2021. So good question. Thank you, my friend. Got to get me go down a little memory lane. All right. Now let's get back to it, shall we? So we listened to this melody. Let's listen to the others real quick, see what we would do with them before we get back to writing. Repeat it for verification. So you can see right off the bat the difference between an early sketch versus a finished product. But I think it works for the most part. And again, this is all just mass production kind of thing. I think that one was fine. Nothing I would change too much. Let's listen to this one. this out. All right, so that's a decent one too. Not too many changes I'd make. I'm reasonably happy with these. Listen, okay, so now the nerves are starting to go away. Now the nerves and the pressure are starting to go away. I think I'm gonna be able to start writing a lot faster now. Let's listen to these again. All right, so that one's a bit crunchy. All right, so let's see, what if I tried bringing this up again? Let me fix that. And let's bring this back. Let's bring this a little bit earlier. I like that one a little better. This one's not the most imaginative that I've done. We'll go. We'll do C, E, G. What if we did... Here we go. What if we did one of these? Let's I like that one better. All right, so we're listening one more time, and then I think we'll have polished this one nicely. All right, much better. Again, not the greatest thing I've ever written, but that's okay. Right now, we're just focusing on mass production. Let's listen to the last two, and then we'll continue with writing, shall we? So Shifter's Car, what's going on? So yes, I am taking a break from writing to kind of just listen to what I've written. All right, we're taking a break, listening to what's written. This is the timer here. I have 36 minutes left to write the rest of my melodies. I only have 8 so far, which is not looking good, but I think a lot of my nerves have worn off now. I think I'm gonna be able to write a lot faster. And now we're just having a little bit of fun enjoying the different ideas. We'll do, let's stretch this down. Let's bring this one in. Let's listen to it again real quick. There we go. I think that's it. I think that works. Again, there are ways to tweak it, make it better, but we're not worried too much about masterpieces at the moment. We're just worried about the challenge. Let's listen to the last one, and then we'll get started writing again, shall we? I think that works. All right, awesome. Let's see any comments, ideas before we get going again. No, we're sticking pretty good. All right, excellent. Let's get started with writing again, shall we? All right, so moving on to the next chunk of stuff. Decided that this was going to be in 3/4 time, right? So here's the plan. We just did these. All right, we're good. We're on to the next ones. Next 8, these are gonna be at 100 BPM at 3/4 time each. All right, so let's change this to 100 BPM. We're in 3/4 time. Let's do 8 bars first. 1, 2, 3, 4. Stretch that out. Got our 2. And then that's our 8. These are going to be the 8. We're doing 4 in the major key / harmony and 4 in minor. Should we get started again? All right, let's go. All right, so starting again in C major, just to keep things easy. We'll say we'll just do again. Nice, authentic cadence. We'll end with a nice half cadence over here. We'll end this one C major. We'll end this one with a plagal cadence. And then this one, let's do a deceptive cadence. All right, so let's fill this one up a little bit. Chord progressions next. All right, so we've got a chord progression. Let's create some ideas. Uh-oh. Something happened. Hold up. Did it drop the stream? All right, no, stream is still going good. All right, so that was just something weird. My computer glitched out. All right, let's see here. Don't want to slow down too much. We'll do 4. We'll do. This is a G major, so. All right, so let's follow our idea. So we've got our main idea. We're doing sentence structure here. We have an idea, new idea, repeat the same basic original idea, find a way to end it. All right. Just add a little ornament. All right, let's listen to this real quick. And then if we were to repeat it, it would legitimize it, but we're not going to repeat it just yet. We're going to keep moving on and write a different one because I need to get these over with quickly if I'm going to make it. All right, so this one, we're starting with C major. We're ending with a half cadence. Let's just do something super basic, shall we? We'll do... So we've got... Super simple idea. Let's drop this down. Let's just do this real quick. Let's make a little walk down a bit so it's not just all arpeggios. That works. Moving on. Popping it up quickly, because I am already way behind. So this one starts with a C major, then it goes F major, C major. So we've got a plagal cadence. Let's do something very interesting here. We'll do a move by perfect fourths until we get interrupted. So we've got our chord progression. In fact, let's just repeat the original one. We'll do that. So changing the cadence a little bit. Let's create something interesting. Let's do this. I feel like a nice little downward movement here. Let's do this real quick. That works. Moving on. Okay, I gotta catch up to the clock. C major. This one ends with another deceptive cadence. Instead of, it goes. All right, so we got that nice and clearly established. What if we do a sus chord? And then instead of revealing, going down the way we want, so we've got, in fact, let's stretch this out a little bit. It's actually, I'm messing things up a little bit. I'm overthinking it. I'm trying to create interesting ideas. Let's not do that. Let's just create functional ideas because I'm against the clock right now. To do. We'll do. That's our chord progression right there. Let's drop the velocity a little bit. My mistake of trying to get a little fancy with the sus chords is going to cost me a little bit, I think. But it's okay. So this. And is that all of them? Okay, at the first 4. Let's just keep moving on. Let's do minor keys now. And we will end again. We'll do drop these down. Here is our chord progression. All right, let's bring these up a little bit so I have a more dynamic top line. Bring the velocity down a little bit. Once again, we are in a waltz. Let's listen to this real quick. Oh, it's because it's the wrong chord. This is supposed to be a C major. So that was supposed to be an A minor again. It's supposed to be a C major. Then this is supposed to be an E G major. Okay, so there we go. And we'll build up a little bit. That works as well. Let's keep going because I am running out of time very, very rapidly. We'll do another A minor. A Dorian. We've got our chord progression. Don't like that B minor, so let's do. There, that works. Bring that down, bring this down real quick. There, 'Cause 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 Simple, stupid, but works. Let's keep going because we're getting behind schedule. I'm getting nervous again, people. All that time I took off to get kind of let my nerves come back down. It's getting back to me. I've talked a lot of smack. I should be able to back it up, right? All right. So we've got our chord progression. So let's do G major to E major to E minor. There we go. Let's see. Would that work as a C minor seventh? I think it'd work. And if not, we'll repair it later. Let's listen to it real quick. Well, is it the last one? Nope, not yet. So let's keep going. Well, no, I gotta listen to it, make sure it still works. Gotta fix it up. So that's... Nah, I don't like the... Alright, it's a little crazy, a little wonky, but it works. Let's keep going. A minor again. And then we'll take a break after this one to listen to what we've come up with so far. Super, super simple chord progression. Let's get some eighth notes. Awesome. So there we go. Let's pause it. 16 so far. All right. I'm going to have to speed this up like by an order of magnitude if I'm going to get all of this finished on time. But let's listen to what we've got so far. And as we're on a break, you guys know the rules. During these breaks, I'll answer questions. All right. You got ideas, questions, suggestions, anything. Let me know what we got here. Let's see the comments real quick. 23, you should assign a different MIDI instrument for two for each melody. Bounce them out and then turn them into a YouTube short video. Oh, that'd be fun. Let's see here. Jack, still here. Welcome. Thank you, Jack. 23, Deceptive Cadence, the musical transformer. Definitely. Paul, I already made 30 melodies just listening. Whatever. Like a boss. Yeah, whatever, Paul. All right. Let's listen to each of these. You know the drill. Repetition. See if there's anything I can do to improve them. Just make sure that's kind of working. I think that works. The cadence, I think, could be a little bit dressed up a little bit. It feels a little lackluster compared to the other ones, other measures. But that's fine. Let's listen to this one, see if there's anything I would do to improve it. So something I would do. I think I'd go a little higher there. Okay, yeah, that one works a little bit better when we do that. Let's listen to this one. All right, that's fine. Nothing too major I would change about that one. Again, these are meant more as academic exercises. Are any of these intended to be great musical character themes? Not really, no. But the cool thing about this strategy, about the idea of having the skill to just crank out a bunch of melodies whenever you need to, is that if you're not feeling very motivated or inspired when you're supposed to be writing something for a client, it's very helpful to just crank out a bunch of these and then be like, all right, the next day, when you're feeling a little better, a little more fresh, you can say, hey, let's re-listen to it and see if any of these strike any inspiration or any ideas. All right, right off the bat, I can fix this up and make it a little bit better. Let's repeat the idea. Let's do this over here. Let's drag these over. All right, not that bad. A little deceptive near the end, which is nice. Gives it a little bit of a weird, darker color. Let's listen to this one. Let's try dropping this one an octave. Why is everything so high? That sounds a bit better. Let's go to the next one, see if there's anything we can adjust to this one to make it better. I kind of like this one. I feel like that one had some promise. I think that one actually out of all of these might be my favorite so far. I don't like this one. What if I just hold it out? I like that better with the chord progression. We go up to the 7th. Much better. Much better. I like having that repetition of the dominant 7th and then replacing the 5th with the 7th. Works really, really well. Last one from this batch. Let's listen to it, see if there's anything we can do to top it up. And if there's any questions, ideas, comments, requests, I will address them before moving on to the next batch. I like that. That one kind of works a little bit. All right. Yes, there are the vocals. All right. So let's see here. The next one we're moving on to. I'm not sure it's going to happen, people. I don't know if I'm going to make all of them. But we've done 16 so far. Next, we need to do 7. 4 major, 3 minor. This one's going to be at 80 BPM, and we're back to 4/4 time, which is a bummer, because I was actually kind of enjoying using the 3/4 time. All right, any questions? And they don't have to be related to this. This is just meant to be kind of a little fun exercise, people. If you have something else you would like to talk about, any other ideas, requests, music theory questions, anything, let me know. All right, I am open to discussing all kinds of things today. Let's see here. It's 8, that's right. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then these are all moving by 1. So yep, let's do that. So then this is going to be our next 7. Before I start writing, let me double check. All right, no questions, nothing. All right. All right, speak now, forever hold your peace. Let's get started, shall we? Boom. All right. Let's do tertian harmony this time. Have some fun. Up. And these down. We've got our chord progression. Let's do another one real quick. these down for voice leading. Pop this down a little bit. We got 2 chord progressions. Got our chord progressions here. One more major. Drop that down. All right, we've got our 4 major ones. Let's start writing the melodies. Let's just get the target tones figured out for each of these real quick. This is the G7, so we're going to want to do. And here we'll do. There we go. Let's add a little bit of rhythm. All right, I'm going to do something risky. I'm not going to listen to this. I'm going to simply keep moving on and trust that the technique I'm using is enough. That's there. Leave it there like that. We won't do any two changes yet. That's good enough. All right, so we've got 4. Let's listen to these real quick, shall we? No, we'll keep going. We'll keep going. I do 3 in the minor key now. This is gonna be a little tricky because I haven't listened to any of these, and right now I'm just really trying to crunch down and get all of this taken care of. That chord progression. Let's get this one next. One down. Oh, shoot. All right, we are running low on time. Should not have looked at that. There we go. Let's do these real quick. This down a little bit. Ah, what happened to this one? How did I not have anything on here? This one down a little bit. Good enough. My melodies are getting simpler and more hackier as I desperately try to beat this clock. All right, pause the clock. Let's listen to these melodies that I just wrote without listening to a single one. Let's just see what we got. All right. Oh man, my eyes. I don't think I blinked. My eyes are super dry now. Let's see here. Questions still here. Awesome. All right, nothing new. 23, should I email my mailing address so you know where to send some of your homemade 30K tortillas? Funny, yes. Oh, yeah, the tortilla tutorial is coming. All right, I'm actually going to make a bunch of them after this for a birthday party I'm going to tomorrow. Let's listen to these real quick. Oop, wrong one. I'm going to have this actually. I like that one better, with a little adjustments there. That works. All right, as a reminder, people, as I'm going through and listening to these, this is your chance to have something actually interesting happen this stream. All right, this is where you can ask questions and have some ideas or suggestions or requests. And it doesn't have to be about this. Like, I really enjoyed that question earlier about what was the hardest melody I ever had to work on professionally. It was really fun going down memory lane with you guys on that and like sharing the piece that I wrote 5 years ago. If you've got other questions about soundtracks I've worked on, or different kind of collaborations I've been part of, or things I'd like to see happen in the future, stuff like that, let me know. All right, this is an opportunity for us to chat and discuss. If I just sit here staring at a screen, not blinking, terrified of this little timer, it's not going to be the most interesting stream, is it? So having a nice little conversation is always super helpful. Let's listen to this one real quick, see how it works. I like this one. This is one that I think I would come back to and revisit and rework. In fact, I think this might actually be something I do. I think I might go through this afterwards, pick like my favorite 4 melodies from this stream, and then just make small arrangements of them and share those. Someone share the idea of like sharing these as like shorts. That'd be really fun. I would love to see this one. I like the idea of having this come in as a very simple like flute melody. Let's come up with a flute. Just do a very simple flute. Like I had the idea of having flutes play this through once. And then have the strings come in. Let's do, you know what, let's just duplicate this. And I have this sound in my head. It'd be really fun to have this melody be played by the flute first. Let's record this, shall we? Forgot to do the octave change. And then let's do just a simple bass line next. All right, so we've got that. Ow, it didn't record. Why did that not record? All right, one more time. Because I've got this idea stuck in my head. Now I'm not going to be able to do without it. And then let's do one of these. Okay, let's do, we'll do strings and octaves next. Bring this up a little bit. Let's do this in octaves. Bring in the bass line. Put this one in octaves. Let's put this voice in octaves as well, and something other than octaves. Let's pull up the chord progression, shall we? So the first chord is a C major. Let's just make sure this one next chord was a F major, and then a G major, and then a C major again. And C major again. Then after C major returned, it was A minor. It was F major, G major twice. And it was C major. All right, so these strings are going to be a little bad. Yeah, you know what? Let's quantize these. Sixteenth notes. Let's listen to this all together, shall we? It's a very simple arrangement, nothing crazy. What's going on here? I feel like the modulation data is all over the place. It is. Oh, that's why. So there's something else I could do there. It's a little cool idea. Glad I went down with it, but give me a little distraction. Let's keep moving on, shall we? Okay. Oh, well, thanks for stopping by, before. Glad you're able to make it. Dylan comments, 4 melodies would mean 4 themes, so why not do a single piece mixing all of them? Oh yeah, I could definitely do a full piece with these later. But right now it's more about the challenge behind it. And I just got sidetracked majorly. I'm sorry, my bad, guys. That was my ADHD moment. I had a little idea with the strings and the flute. I wanted to hear it. But let's keep moving on. Good little idea. Nothing too crazy there. Let's listen to this one, see how this one turned out. Because we do need to get moving on. Let's listen to it again. Nice. Let's listen to the next one. See how this one turned out. Nice, that one turned out pretty decent too. Let's hear this one. Decent. These are all pretty nice. Listen to this one. Always love a good Dorian chord combo. And nice. This brings us to the last few that we need to do. I have got, what is that, 16 plus 7, what is that, 23? I've written 23 melodies so far using the timer. Let's see how many more I can do. I don't think I got it, people. I don't think I can do 7 in 6 minutes and 38 milliseconds. I'm fast, but I'm not that fast. All right, but we're gonna try at least, right? These last ones are gonna be in 3/4 time, and we're changing it to 60 BPM. Let's set up our maps. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Pop it there. Pop it there. And pop it there. All right, 7. Whew. Let's see here. Yes, so thank you very much for 30,000. I appreciate it. It was a lot. It's been crazy getting this many people. It's been insane. So thank you everyone who's been part of this. Javier, congratulations and thank you for all your contributions. My pleasure. I love what I do. So my pleasure and thank you very much. Let's try it, shall we? And begin. Let's create something interesting on this one. We'll do... There's our chord progression. Let's come up with a couple more just very rapidly. There we go, got that. Come up with another one real quick. I think I already did this chord progression earlier, but that doesn't matter. Just trying to get some done. Let's do one more, and then I gotta start writing the melodies. Let's doing some combos, shall we? There's one. Speed up a little bit, shall we? Did I finish this one, or was this just target tones? All right, so that one was completed. That was okay. Ah, we're so close. I'm gonna run out of time. Well, got that one. What can I do? What can I do? What can I do? There we go. Got one more minute. One more minute. Can I do one more? Do a pedal tone. That one's gonna be the most experimental. Can I do another one? Can I do another one? Let's try another pedal tone. Ah, all right, all right. Timer's up. I thought I was gonna make a noise. I thought the timer would make a noise. Okay, timer is up. I got 29 melodies written in an hour. Oh my word. Oh. Well, let's listen to these. All right, let's listen to these and let's see if there's anything we can do to fix them. And then I'll probably call it, people. If there's anyone left on the stream, let me know your thoughts, guys. I'll stay on as long as people want to chat. I don't have anything much left on my schedule for the rest of the day. So if you got ideas, questions, suggestions, maybe you have ideas for what you would like to see for the next 10,000 subscribers, other than opera. I'm not an opera singer, people. I'm not going to sing opera. Let me double check my phone real quick, make sure nothing crazy's happened. Doing good. All right, awesome. Let's listen, shall we? All right, so that kind of works. Let's do. I kind of like the idea of where was it? I kind of like that idea, making a little dotted eighth note. I feel like this one was supposed to be over here. Listen one more time. I like that idea a little bit better. Obviously, I could clean it up a little bit, but let's see what this one works. I kind of like this one too. Alright, that one works. Honestly, these aren't as bad as I thought with how fast I was rushing. I like this one too. I'm getting some ideas now, actually. Alright, that one kind of works. Now we're getting to the experimental ones. There's the pedal tones. Alright, this one was a mad ditch effort to see if I could get the 30 in time. Alright, so those last two were pretty lame, but the first four, I kind of liked the first four. I think these four showed some promise. There's actually, of the 29 I succeeded in getting, I think there's some decent ideas in here. So here's my plan. Wow, my voice is cracking because I'm tired. Alright, what I'm going to do with this. My plan is I'm going to go through these. I'm going to fix them up. Alright, maybe I'll do it in a live stream. Maybe I'll do it just for fun on my own. I'm going to go through it. I'm going to improve each one until I feel like each one is a really solid little idea in and of itself. Then I'll probably arrange a couple of them just for fun and make some shorts. And who knows? If you guys would be interested, like maybe like $5 once everything's nice and fixed up, I'll sell the MIDI file on my website for like $5, and you can get you can just try arranging them yourself or turning one of these small little ideas into a full-length piece of music. But all in all, 29 in 1 hour. If you're just joining, yes, I know the stream is much longer than an hour, but I had a timer, and every time I stopped to talk to people instead of writing, or anytime we reviewed what had been written because I was doing something fast, I'd stop the timer, I'd answer questions, I'd talk about different stuff. So that way the 1 hour was spent just writing. Of the 29 that I succeeded in getting in 1 hour, I think there's some promise here. I'm pretty happy with this. All right, I'm pretty happy with it. I think I acquitted myself fairly decently. Are there any last minute questions before I call it? Charlie, hi, first time here. Discovered your channel very recently. I'm coming after the battle. I'll watch the stream in relay. Are you okay with your melodies being used as a basis to train harmonization? Of course. Yes. Like I said, I'm probably going to sell these if you want them. They're short little ideas. Go for it. Anything that I put on this channel, you're welcome to use to help further your own musical training. All right, so yeah, I just answered the question. You got 29, just cut 1 in half and cut the tempo. True, yeah. Nah, that would go against the spirit of it. I tried, I did my best, and at the end of the day, I only got 29 out of the 30 I was hoping to get in the 1 hour allotted. But I'm pretty happy with it. Ben Loco, nice, I came late, but caught some good stuff. Nice seeing Cubase, you have a good workflow. Thank you very much, my friend. Yes, my workflow is something I'm very proud of. I can write a very decent theme. So, like, for example, earlier in the live stream, we talked about the piece that took me the longest to write. So why don't I show you guys the piece I've worked on that took the least amount of time? I think it's actually kind of tied. I have two. I think this one right here took me like 2 hours. right, so like I said, that piece I think took me like 2 hours. I love this piece. I think it's one of my favorite pieces I've ever written. Very simple choral arrangement. I'm actually one of the singers in here because, as always happens with projects, you get brought on being told that you have a certain amount of budget. I got promised a full choir. Instead, we got a small group of singers instead. Because again, the budget gets spent on other stuff, unfortunately. But so I am actually one of the singers in this. But that took me 2 hours, and this even though this was just a sketch, this was a sketch. The actual full piece took much longer. So this whole piece took me 2 hours, right, like start to finish. This one right here took me about an hour. But this was just the sketch. The full length piece, which ended up being like 6 minutes long, took way longer. But this sketch took me an hour. It's because of my workflow. And so yeah, like I said, those are the pieces that were much shorter. It took less time for me to write. This sketch took me an hour. This full piece took me 2 hours. So once you have the nice thing about composition as an art form is it's a craft. It's a skill. You can get really good at writing stuff quickly that's still emotionally impactful as long as you master your skill. So these 29 melodies that I came up with in an hour, it didn't take me an hour to write these. It took me 6 years to write these. All right, yeah, they're kind of, some of them are cheesy, some of them are bad, but there's some really good ones in here. But the ability that I have to write melodies and chord progressions super, super quickly took years to accomplish. And you can learn all of it as well. You can learn my workflows on my website. Probably the best resource is my textbook. All right, I actually have physical copies. You can buy physical copies on Amazon. 400 pages big. All right, big book, chunky boy. Amazon link is right here. You can find it there. You can also find the table of contents right here. It's probably the best resource if you want to learn my workflows. This will teach you everything you need about that. Other than that, if you don't have that budget for that, I do have free classes you can check out. Please, if you do take a class, please very much consider donating. Even $1 is very helpful. All the money donated from this page helps contribute to building new classes for free in the future. But I have 4 classes on here that you can take. But the textbook is the best resource. What else was I going to say? I had something else I was going to say. But yeah, so that was a lot of fun. And earlier, I wanted to show you guys about how those ones were made much more quickly because there was a 4-year difference from these and the one that I showed earlier, that Esther's theme, which took me a month to come up with. And I wrote that one like this one. That took me like 5 years ago to write this one. It took me a long time to write that one. That's just kind of interesting little answering the questions. Dylan, how do you begin to write something like this? You treat each voice as any other instrument, like 4-part writing? Correct. Yeah, so you're talking about the On You Stay? Yeah, so I came up with the melody, the chord progression, and then I arranged it for 4 voices. Put the melody where I wanted it first, figured out the bass line where I wanted that, and then filled out the rest as necessary. I mean, for the Requiem, not the sketch. Yes, very much. Yeah, the same thing. Just treat each voice like its own instrument playing its own line. So if I pull up the sheet music for this, because I have the sheet music right here somewhere, because I had to submit it for the other singers to work with. Where is it? Where is all of my stuff for? Where is it? All my stuff for Leo's Requiem. You know what? Let's just pull it up from here. I know it's over here somewhere. Unused day. Here we go. So on use today, sopranos, altos, tenors, we see that I have the melody and I was harmonizing the melody. So that's another cool thing is when you have a choir, they don't all have to sing at the same time. So if we pull this back up, we can follow along. I can explain what's happening as it plays. So sopranos and tenors are performing. Altos come in with the counter melody. And then the sopranos are playing the melody. Tenors are supporting. Then the basses come in. Thicken the texture. Now the tenors have the melody. Tenors have the melody, everybody else is supporting them. A caesura, a pause, and then just the tenors and sopranos. Bring it back down. All right. And yes, this is a very religious piece. The Agnus Dei is one of the traditional prayers taken from the original Requiem. For those of you who didn't know, the Requiem was, before the symphony was a thing, in the Baroque period, the Catholic Mass. Setting the Catholic Mass to music was the highest level of musical accomplishment. If composers wanted to show their skill, if the composer wanted to show their ability, back in the Baroque period, the only institution that was purchasing new art, that was, what's the word I'm looking for? My brain is fried after 2 hours. The only institution, the only organization that was basically hiring artists, and there's a word for it, and I can't think of it. The only thing that was, I keep thinking I'm going to have the word, but whatever. The only institution that was buying new art, that was paying for new art to be created, was the church. And so one of the greatest challenges was to set the Mass to music. So a Requiem was the traditional Latin Mass, the traditional rite of Christian burial. So this musical, this play I worked on, Leo's Requiem, featured different parts of the traditional Requiem throughout the story, because it was, again, a story about death, a story about rebirth, a story about coming to grips with survivor's guilt. It's a very dark, sad, but beautiful story. And so this particular piece, I got to set this to music, and it was very trippy. Because this particular prayer, these particular lyrics, with the exception of the English parts, but all the Latin, has been set to music for 1,500 years. For 1,500 years, composers have been setting this music. Not like this. The prayer is about 1,500 years old. I'd say since the Baroque period was about like 1500s? So about 500 years that it's been set to music for like choral music. But still, hundreds and hundreds of years of tradition of setting these words to music. And it was just really, really cool being able to be part of that tradition myself. Question. How are we going to write something like that? I mean, for the Requiem, nice. And somebody needs to hire you to write an epic JRPG. Yes, I agree, 23. Someone does need to hire me to write for an epic JRPG game. I would freaking love that. That would be so much fun. Smo, so I think melody writing is one of the most overlooked aspects of music theory, at least in YouTube music realm. I agree. Do you want to know where you can learn a lot more about melody writing? Well, first off, look up Tabletop Composer. I'm going to give you a couple of resources. Most of them free, one of them paid. Melody writing. The Ultimate Guide to Writing Melodies. 40-minute video. It's an edited live stream. Great resource. This one right here will teach you this entire process I use today. Tabletop Composer. If you want something more structured, something like a class, I have an entire class about music theory and melody, writing melodic structure and form. This class will also help you. If you want to learn all of it, all in a cohesive, sequential manner, my textbook is honestly probably the best resource I can recommend you. You can pay in installments if you'd like. But yeah, table of contents, you can find everything that's included in the book here. And you can get physical copies. I've got one on my desk right here, 400 pages long, on Amazon. I will not click the link to Amazon because it's probably got my address on there. I don't want to show everybody where I live. All right. But with that, I think we'll call it a day here, my friends. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. So if you missed it, I succeeded in doing 29 of the 30 within the allotted hour. So close. My next steps, I'm going to dress these up. I'm going to find each one. I'm going to tune it up, make sure I'm happy with each and every single one of these melodies, make sure they're all nice. And then I'll probably arrange a couple of them just for fun, and I'll make them available as a mini pack for like $5 on my website. Pay $5, get 29 melodies that you get to practice harmonizing, arranging, orchestrating, whatever you want to do with them. All right. But thank you very much, everybody. Thank you for stopping by. Thank you for celebrating with me. Thank you very much. I appreciate every single one of you. And here's to the next 10K. All right. Have a good one. Enjoy your weekend. Bye for now.